Hey everybody, welcome back to another Judgment commentary of Nisemonogatari, but today I'm going to be checking out episode 3, Karen B, part 3. Yeah. But last time, Araragi decided to hang out with some of the friends he made along the way throughout Bake, first starting with Nadeko, because he said he would hang out with her, but he put it off and didn't get around to it for some time. But, they just hung out, talked for a bit, played Game of Life, and, a quick little game of Twister, and it went, just about how every game of Twister goes when played in fiction. But I guess to a lesser extent. And if I may point out, there were a few interesting things in his encounter with Nadeko, but what sticks out to me was the fact that she really did not want him going in her closet. Like, she was very, very against it. I mean, I get it. You don't want someone rummaging through your closet. There's obviously personal possessions in there, but she really didn't want him in there. Sounds to me like she might have a skeleton or two. But the big ticket item was him hanging out with Tsuruga, and that started out with her just giving him a phone call, and the first thing that she said upon the call starting was that she was going to strip down, as that is what you do, is courtesy when on the phone with someone. Obviously. Hearing that she had done this, Araragi hangs up and gets on his bike and rushes over there as quickly as possible. Just so we can see her being depressed because it ended up with her grandma walking by and seeing her, and then awkward. Yeah, he said he wanted to get there because he wanted to see her depressed, but let's be honest, we know what he wanted to see. What he ended up seeing. And that scene was interesting. There was a heavy amount of emphasis on the detail and execution of that shot in what Araragi was seeing, but it was already apparent that it served somewhat more of a narrative purpose than just that, in that it was from Araragi's perspective, seeing that his eyes were going certain places, and he was probably embellishing the story a little bit, as presumably this is all just being told from Araragi's point of view anyway, so some of it might be a bit exaggerated. But what was very interesting was one of you left a comment going into great detail about how the scene was referencing an art theory by the name of neoplasticism, which basically is just the concept of reducing art down to its most basic, most pure form, to the point where it looks, like stuff like this. And I can definitely see that being the case, because there was already a pretty blatant allusion to the concept of neoplasticism in Tsuruga's dialogue, where she said, right when Araragi busted in, that he was seeing her in her purest form. Which is what neoplasticism is. And hey, there was already some pretty clear references to art theory before, like how in Araragi's house it resembled a frickin' art museum, which I picked up on right out of the gate, so there's probably going to be a lot more references to, things like art theory going forward. It seems to be a bit of a heavy emphasis in Nisei so far. So thank you for that comment. It was definitely fascinating to read, and it certainly does help to add more artistic merit to the scene, beyond even what I had already assumed was present. And besides that, another scene that I enjoyed was Araragi getting his just desserts and finally getting to walk a mile in the shoes of Mayoi when Tsuruga, pins him down and starts doing to him what he had done to her so many times. So perhaps this is an opportunity for Araragi to grow and learn and be better, and to not harass Mayoi every time he gets the chance, now that he's, walked a mile in her shoes. So yeah, the apparent narrative and thematic depth of the Monogatari series continues to grow, and honestly, so far this keeps reminding me of that film studies class I took in college, because this is the kind of stuff they would have us analyze. But now, I've definitely rambled away about this more than long enough, so let us begin. Okay, so let's take this back to the beginning. We had the Tsuruga conversation, which was an interesting one. The typical conversation of her saying that, hey, if I went after you, then I'd have you, I'm not sure about that, though. I think Araragi is just, one, too oblivious. Even if she did actually try to get in a relationship with the guy, he'd never know. And two, I think he holds enough respect for Senjugahara even, you know, despite some of the things she does on occasion, that he would not betray her. No, no. And besides, Saruga wouldn't do it anyway because that would be betraying Senjugahara, and she also likes Senjugahara too much for that. Also, the fact that she would kind of show herself off to Araragi last episode kind of already is a betrayal of Senjugahara's, you know, trust as a friend, if you think about it. Because she totally did that on purpose. You can't tell me that if he had knocked on that door, she wouldn't have let him in anyway. I know she would have. But hey, that's another story, and I'm not getting into that, but... Besides that, though, we have this, Kaiki guy. That was his name, right? Means, you know, something along the lines of about dead trees. He's an enigma. He had a similar vibe to Oshino and the Guillotine Cutter, apparently. Didn't get... I mean, you know what? Yeah, I got a little bit of Guillotine Cutter vibes from the guy, and a little bit of Oshino. He's like some kind of weird unholy union between the two, vibe-wise, which is not a good thing, but he said he was after, you know, that specific kid who likely would end up being Saruga, but he said that there was no energies in there that would potentially belong to who he was looking for. It was only about a third of what he expected. But Senjugahara is definitely concerned about this guy because of her previous encounter with him. She doesn't want Araragi anywhere near him to the point where she just straight up kidnapped him, locked him up, and had no intention of letting him out if he decided to stay there permanently. But the second his sister texted him saying, "Help me," he instantly busted out of those chains and was ready to go. Love that man. It shows where his priorities are. And heck, we already know, if you ask Araragi for help, no matter who you are, chances are, he'll help you. It doesn't matter if he has no idea who you are. You could be a freaking limbless vampire lying on the ground saying, "Help me by letting me drain the blood from your body," and he would still do it. So especially when it's his own sister asking for help, of course, he's gonna jump at the chance. And then we had that whole business with Hanekawa calling Senjugahara. There was a deal between them? And that Senjugahara needed more time for something? Man, that is freaking mysterious. I'm not sure about that, but I guess what she was busy with and why she couldn't show up has something to do with this, but how would she be getting mixed up in all of this? What does it all mean? Where is the connection here? There's a lot of plot threads going on. I've dealt with more in the past, but still quite fascinating. Nisemonogatari having a pretty dang strong start so far. So anyway, guess it's gonna be it for now, guys, but thank you for watching. Make sure to leave a like and a comment if you enjoyed. Subscribe to be updated on more. That'd be great. Let me know what you thought of the episode as well. Any other fascinating, intriguing insights you'd like to inform me of, I would appreciate it. I get tons of those all the time, and they're quite interesting. I always read all of them and take them to heart. So yeah, let's see what awaits in the next part of Karen B, Part 4. What help does his sister need? Is it something more serious? Is it something more minor? We'll find out, because given that the arc is titled around Karen, something is going to happen eventually. So like I said, for now, that's it. So till we meet again, I will see you guys later.